What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's a very short edition of the Countdown City Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this San Diego Comic Con preview episode, the one, the only, David, your source for the Force.
What is up, guys?
We are quickly going to sort of talk about what's going on this weekend, how we're involved. We won't spoil everything that we're doing because sometimes things change, and I don't want to be disappointing anybody. But we got a lot of exciting things that are coming up later on this week. We also got some very cool things to talk about. Of course, my goodness, like what the stars and the planets are aligning. It's not only San Diego Comic Con week. Not only did Cobra Kai, the final season part one got released this week. Deadpool and Wolverine drops in 2 days. Like the stars are aligning. It is incredible. If you're in the chat, say what's up. I want to hear what you're excited about. Also want to know your let's say opening weekend predictions for Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll probably do that ourselves too here in a little bit. But if you're in the chat, say what's up. And also, if you haven't already um entered, we are doing a movie giveaway for Borderlands, the movie based on the hit game. I do not want you guys to miss out. So, right now, let's get this out of the way. If you're watching, now's your shot. Borderlands movie giveaway. This is for your chance of winning a pair of tickets to the opening. It will not be an early screening, but it'll be 2 free passes to any participating Atom Tickets theater near you. All you got to do is visit the link in the chat. Be sure to sign up on the form, and winners will be selected probably next week, sometime in the next week. So good luck to everybody who's going to enter in. It looks like a ton of fun, honestly. I really don't know what to expect from it. Dave, are you excited at all about Borderlands?
I guess I'm mildly excited. It looks a lot like a Guardians of the Galaxy trying to kind of capitalize on what they did. But Kate Blanchett is in it, which is unbelievable. And the writing wave and the crest of these video game adaptations have been pretty decent as of late. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't really heard anything great about it. But I mean, it's not out yet, so who knows? It might just be one of those films that is kind of under the radar and kind of goes by, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. That was a really fun movie. Not a lot of people went to go see it, but it's like, man, everyone should have went to go see that. It was really, really solid.
It was a great film. Nunez in the chat saying, "Hey guys, what's going on, sir? How are you doing?" Yeah, no, D&D was fantastic. It was so good. I hope it gets a sequel, but like you mentioned, it didn't do as expected as they had hoped. So Borderlands, it looks fun. It looks very Guardians of the Galaxy esque, if you
Hmm.
will. It looks like a fantastic ensemble. I'm a huge Jamie Lee Curtis fan. Have been since the first time I saw her in Halloween. So that's not going to change. Jack Black voicing the robot seems kind of fun. I'm not the biggest Kevin Hart fan. I like his comedy. Like I like half his movies. Let's just say that. The other
Well,
half, I don't know.
for Star Wars, Ariana Greenblatt is gonna be one of the main characters. I think she wears like the rabbit ears.
Yeah,
So yeah, she played young Ahsoka and she played young Gamora, and she was in Barbie.
Rick's in the chat saying, "Hey man, how's your evenings? By the way, ours is good. Also very busy. And what's it called? We are talking about so much tonight. So, we just promoted the giveaway for Borderlands. I'm trying to get my brain straight right now because there's just so much going on. Right now, though, we probably need to get to the topic at hand. If you haven't seen the announcement that we made before, tomorrow we're leaving on a jet plane to San Diego Comic Con International. We are so stoked, and there's just so much going on. It is bonkers. Ray's in the chat saying, "Get me a Power Ranger comic signed." I'll do what I can, Ray. I'll do what I can. Nunez says, "David, cool helmet collection." Dave's got a legit collection. It is bonkers. But let's talk about SDCC. And I don't know where you want to start. I kind of have an idea. There's a couple of exclusives I'm actually keeping my eye on. Everybody knows that I'm part of our local Ghostbusters chapter. And so was looking out for anything Ghostbusters related. Lo and behold, they do have some pretty cool things that they're going to be um, selling over at San Diego Comic Con. So let me pull them up right here. The first of which is a proton pack pin set, which is really cool. These only run about $20, so they're not going to break the bank. And I would love that on my flight suit, right on the collar, or right below the name tag or something. I think that'd be fantastic. And then just recently, they also announced they were doing a. I don't remember the name of the group. Let me see if it's on here. Um, I suppose PCS is the name of the group. They are giving away, not giving away, they're selling some fantastic Ghostbuster statues. This has got to be one of the best looking Winston Zeddemore statues that I've ever seen. Like, bar none, without a doubt. So much detail in the flight suit. They got the belt gizmo on. Even the hose looks fantastic. And the proton stream coming from the neutrona wand, I've never seen anybody do it like that before. It looks so good, and so I'm sure this is gonna run around $100 or so, maybe even more. But I am keeping my eye on that, and I cannot wait to kind of get a closer look at it. Lots of exclusives, lots of merchandise, memorabilia to kind of show off for you guys. There's a lot we're going to be trying to do while we're there at San Diego Comic Con, starting tomorrow. And if you have any questions, throw the questions in the chat. We'll try and get through as many as we possibly can. If there's anything at all you want to know about, anything at all that you have questions about, throw those in the chat. Dave, you've been looking at a lot of Star Wars stuff, no pun intended. Anything that you've been kind of keeping your eye on and you're hoping to get a better look at this weekend?
Yes, there's quite a bit of few things there. But before we get started, I think we kind of failed to mention that we're simulcasting on the Star Wars Stuff podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you guys are watching there that traditionally comment here too. We want to get your thoughts and opinions on stuff. But yeah, Ted and I are going to go to San Diego Comic Con in a few hours, essentially. Um, and yes, there are Star Wars exclusives out there. The one that I keep on thinking about is I believe it's a 6-inch off-world Jawa figure that's in the style of the old Kenner action figures. And Leilani Shu is actually going to be at the booth where they're going to have that figure. And I think she's going to be signing figures. So, because she did play an off-world Jedi. Also, Joe Caroni, who was also on the Star Wars Stuff podcast a couple times, he's doing 2 exclusive prints. One is of Bo-Katan, and one is of Shin Hati, and also Balin Skull is on it as well. I'll probably buy both of them if I can get my hands on them. All these are in limited quantities, so they're really scarce. I know the Fig Pin booth is doing a couple of pins, a couple of Anakin Skywalker pins. One is a Force Ghost, also a Jar Jar that's like limited to like 500 if I can get my hands on that. I know one of our hosts on Star Wars Stuff Podcast, Hunter Smoke, really wants that pin. He's a big Jar Jar fan. Also, Roosevelt's is going to have at their booth a lot of different exclusive shirts for San Diego Comic Con. I know there's a Jar Jar shirt that I know that Hunter wants that I'm going to look out for. There's going to be a pin set of Queen Amidala in all of her different costumes. I think it's like kind of like a bust style, just like the head and like the shoulders and the headdress. I'm gonna try and get that for Ray on our podcast, female Ray. And the other things I think are probably Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine related for me. So Um, yeah, there. I know there's a lanyard, there's a badge, there's an X-Men '97 pin. I'm not a big pin collector. I do like the pins. I would love to go out and see what kind of cool pins I can get. I definitely want to get the traditional SDCC logo pin out there. And friends that I met a couple weekends ago at Rebel Scum Con in Allen, Texas, Punch It Chewy Press. I got a couple of their pins right here, actually. So they're going to be, it's hard to see them with the glare. They're going to be there as well. They're going to have an exclusive comic book style Boba Fett pin and a different R2 3PO pin every single day of the con. So that's another place that I'm definitely going to try and check out. I'm just afraid that I'm going to get in line for something and I'm going to buy that thing and then all the other things are going to get sold out. That's kind of my worry. So I think the thing for me personally is that off-world Jawa figure. I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to go for that. But like you said, Ted, we got a lot of stuff that we're doing that we're actually continuously getting invited to, which is wild. We just got a crazy email a while ago, like, please attend our panel. And it's like, oh man, it'd be so wonderful if I could meet this guy in person. I don't know if we want to tell people who it is, but a person.
If you want to go ahead. There,
Okay.
like I said, there's a lot like on our plate,
Right.
and I'm
Right.
gonna assume things don't always work out, because they might overbook people, they might cancel
Yeah.
things, So I don't want to say something that's gonna happen and then it might not. But if there's someone that you are specifically interested in, I think I know who you're talking about. I think you should go ahead and do it. Rick says, "Nice Tears for Fears shirt, by the way." I get a lot of compliments on my Tears for Fears shirt. Mostly because nobody knows what a Tears for Fears shirt looks like. So yeah, it's one of those kind of rare things. Um, Nunez says that looks dope. He was referring to the Ernie Hudson statue, I believe. He also says, I've never been to San Diego Comic Con. Hope to go one year. How is it? Is the trip expensive? Where do y'all stay? Great questions. We'll start with the easy answers. Where do y'all stay? So if you are attending, there is a kind of a lottery system of hotels. Um, they kind of reserve off about 20 hotels around the convention center, around the airport, probably within like a 5 mile radius. And in that lottery, you're allowed to select a number of days to stay with, and the prices are reasonable. Like if you want to stay at a hotel around the convention center, within like 5 miles. You could probably find some in the high 100s, maybe low 200s is probably the cheapest they go, and that's for the ones further away. And that may sound like, and that's per night, by the way, per night, right? If you did not do that, if you try and stay at a hotel that's not under this system of booking, I mean, I was just looking online, like yesterday, and hotels next to the convention center that are magically open right now are as high as 2,000 a night, and I'm never doing that. So you can kind of budget and find ways to kind of stay places. Also, like the first year I went, I stayed at a hostel. Not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually kind of enjoyed it. You really don't spend a whole lot of time there. Hostel, for anybody who doesn't know, is not like the horror movie. It's where you sort of stay in like a dorm setting with strangers, but everybody's got a locker with a lock, so all your stuff is kind of protected.
Yeah.
And you are sleeping next to strangers. So if you don't want that, then that's kind of a bad thing. But you could also go with friends and stay in one room together, so it's not as weird, and that runs, 80 bucks maybe to 100 a night. So there's ways of making it reasonable. You can also stay further away from the gas lamp quarter, and prices will be cheaper, and just drive or use the trans system, the metro or Uber or whatever you want to kind of get around. So you can budget. That's where you can stay. How is it? David hasn't been yet. So I will tell you, it is the greatest place on earth. It is the most magical place on earth. It is the center of the freaking universe, and I can't wait. I'm so stoked. I've been 4 years in the past. I took a break, one because my daughter was born, and I was like, I should probably stop for a while, and then COVID hit, and so it got harder to get back in once you kind of stop. This year we're attending as press, so we're going to be doing a lot of coverage of the panels and interviews with authors, creators, actors, people behind the scenes. It's going to be really exciting for us. And it's if you get a chance to go, if you actually decide like I'm going to try to go, easiest way to start is by volunteering. Volunteer is the easiest way to try and get in for the first time, and it's free, right? Because you don't have to pay for a ticket, so you kind of save money that way, and it's so much fun. You're working for the greatest event on the planet. And so, yeah, I appreciate the questions, and I hope that you get to go one day. Ray says Joe Crony art is always great. Mariana says Disney announced today meet and greet with Deadpool at California Adventure. Exciting.
That's wild.
Ray says, boom, studios will have cool comic covers. Medris is in the
Yeah.
chat saying, have fun, bring me a souvenir. I will do my best. Ray says you can fit 8 people to a room. Yeah, depending on the hostel, I think it ranges between like 4 and 8. Um, and like I said, if you get in early, then you can just make it people and it's not as weird. Nina says, thanks for answering. I'll try to make it for sure. Yeah, I think it could be overwhelming the first time. And it sure was for me. It took me like 2 years of planning to just go for the first time. Also, because you have to register like a year in advance, different like 2 different ways and whatnot. So if you ever have more questions, hit me up, man. And yeah, I tell everybody they got to go at least once. And he says I'm freaking ready for Deadpool Wolverine, dude. So are we, man. Dave, would you like to share what you purchased today with
But yeah,
the?
I was off today to get ready for SDCC, and I picked up some shirts, some countdown shirts that I had made for the trip. But I also went from theater to theater. I went to my local theater. My local theater, so shockingly, they had Deadpool Wolverine merch, so I bought some. So here's a couple of things that I bought. So they had, let me see. There's a particular. I bought 2 cups. They had this cup. It actually, and one of them is yours, Ted. It lights up from the bottom.
And it's a Cinemark, by the way.
No. This isn't Cinemark. This is my hometown theater.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I picked one up for you too. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Amazing.
They also had the popcorn bucket, not the popcorn bucket, but this popcorn bucket. So I
Tin,
got
right?
this one too. So yeah, I got you one as well, Ted. So I went to Creekside Cinema in New Braunfels. They said they weren't getting any merch until the day of. I went to Santikos in New Braunfels. They said they weren't going to get any merch until the day of. But see, the rumor was that everything was coming in today, so that's why I went today. I went to Evo in San Antonio. They had nothing. And then I remember someone posted on Facebook saying that they got the what I like to call the PG-13 version of the Wolverine popcorn bucket. So I went to the Cinemark in San Antonio, and not the one that we saw Ghostbusters at, but another one, and I got the PG-13 Wolverine bucket. That's what I'm calling it. So this is what it looks like. It actually looks pretty cool. I mean, I could display that on the shelf along with my helmets, actually, and it looks decent. The other popcorn bucket, you have to look at it from the top down. But yeah, the top of his head comes off. It's taped up right now. I haven't taken it apart, but yeah, it's decent. So I wanted to get one of these. So yeah, I know a lot of my Star Wars followers are watching this right now, and in between that gap, when the prequels, between the prequels and the original trilogy, I loved Marvel. I love the X-Men especially. So this is like right up there for me as like almost like attending a Star Wars celebration for the first time. And of course it's San Diego Comic Con, it's the granddaddy. It's the Comic Con to go to, and for years and years and years on YouTube, I would every summer I would wait and watch as Kevin Feige would walk across that stage and talk about the future plans for Marvel. And as a little kid, me and my friends, we would dream about live action Marvel. And this was like late 80s, early 90s until it finally happened in 2000. And I remember it's a core memory for me going into the AMC 24 on Huebner Oaks in San Antonio, sitting next to a guy. After 15 minutes, he told me, "Can you stop?" And I'm like, "Stop what?" He's like, "You're shaking." And I'm like, "Oh damn, I guess I am." So I'm one of those people that shakes my legs when they sit down. So that's what he was referring to. And I was so nervous for this movie, it had to work, or else I don't know, life would be over, I guess. But I was so worried about Hugh Jackman, man. He was a no name. He was nobody. And he was playing Wolverine. And I was like, what is going on? And I just thought, well, maybe they found the perfect guy. And yeah, we all know that I think pretty much they found the perfect guy. So that's kind of my thought process. X-Men 97 was fantastic. I loved it. Everyone loved it. The original X-Men cartoon, the animated series. I'd watch it every Saturday morning out of order because for some reason our local Fox channel would not show it in order. So not until Disney Plus I could see everything kind of in order and kind of understand the way it went. And of course the comics, I have all the cards. I bought them as an adult because I used to buy them and you'd get duplicates, and I don't know, they ended up in different places as a kid, and my parents probably threw them away or whatever. But I have the complete set now. But yeah, I'm just super hyped up for Deadpool Wolverine. I think Deadpool is going to be one of the greatest trilogies. I think people are going to talk about it along with like Back to the Future and even Star Wars, and I think it's going to be up Lord of the Rings. It's going to be up there as soon as this movie gets unleashed to the world. And hopefully me and Ted can make it into Hall H on Thursday for the Deadpool Wolverine Celebration of Life and get to see it with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman there. I heard Kevin Feige on an interview talk about the fact that it's called the Celebration of Life because Ryan Reynolds just thought it sounded weird. So that's what they named it. So yeah, Deadpool, yeah, it's a beloved live action film franchise for me. So Deadpool 2 was so great. And I actually just did a podcast with Kevin Reitzel and Kyle on the Fandom Podcast Network. You can actually go see that on their channel where he just talked about Deadpool 2 and how I think it's a very underrated and undercelebrated sequel that exists, and not a lot of people talk about it. But yeah, man, this celebration of life. I mean, it's gonna. They had a lottery, so if you watch Star Wars Stuff podcasts, you can always see Colin and I bad mouthing the Star Wars lottery when they do that. So now it looks like they're doing that for SDCC now. But
Yeah, for the first time, because all the years that I went before, the only lottery system they ever did was anything that was like exclusive related.
yeah,
Nothing panel related was ever using a lottery system, and so this, for the first time ever, a lot of firsts, a lot of unprecedented announcements. Marvel doing a Thursday panel, unprecedented for sure. Like, I've not heard of that in all the years I've been going. And so this was already like a big, huge curveball. And then secondly, to only have it as a lottery system, I get it. I get it. Not everybody has a capability to, stay overnight, camp out. They don't want it that much as bad, or they just can't do that. So I get it.
yeah,
Maybe try and find a happy medium. Maybe do a lottery for like half the seats, the other half let people camp out, whoever really, really wants to as bad. You know why? Because you also need to help prevent what's happening to like today. People are trading for like seats to this event, and they're not trading their own seats because you cannot do that. They're going off a name, so you need an ID with your name on the ticket. But all the plus ones that are going unused, people are trading those for valuables. They're trading those for like other things, and you run the risk of people not getting what they thought they were getting, and now you're finding plus one seats being auctioned off on eBay, anywhere between 300 to $1,000 now. People are asking for their Deadpool and Wolverine Thursday night panels, which will include a showing of the movie in Hall H, which is like once in a lifetime thing. You can go to Hollywood premieres all year long. You can go to New York premieres all year long, world premieres, but this is a Marvel movie in Hall H, and that's not been done. I don't even remember the last time that's ever been done. So I understand the gravity of the situation, but it's getting dangerous when people are starting to like ask for valuables and money transactions for this thing. If there's a possibility that we get in, we'll do our best to kind of cover everything that's happening. I'm just not giving my hopes up, and we also have a lot of people that are asking us to kind of do other things around the same time. So if we don't get into this panel, it's not going to ruin the trip because we are going to be really super busy this whole time. Ray's also mentioning, hey, Jack in the Box has a Deadpool head. You are correct, sir. That's actually going to be probably the first thing that I want to do when we get to San Diego is we go check out the Jack in the Box sort of activation that's off site, and they're giving away these things: Jack in the Box, Deadpool, sort of antenna heads, and a blind owl pack. I don't know what's in that. I'm gonna assume it's hilarious, so I cannot wait to get off the plane, and that's probably gonna be the first thing we do is we go to this little activation. It's either a booth or it's a food truck. I'm not really sure what it is, but we gotta hit that up like ASAP, Dave. That's like priority one before all those things go kind of run out. And if I get some extras, guess what I'm giving away? Yeah, Jack in the Box Deadpool antenna heads. So let's hope that they still have plenty when we get there.
So if you have a really old car that has an antenna, you're in luck. So what's a modern thing they build now that has an antenna that you can put those on?
Nothing really, right?
Yeah, if you're in the chat, if you know, chime in.
Nunez says he also would like a popcorn bucket. Off topic, I hear there will be merch for Art the Clown when Terrifier releases. I can't wait for that. Yeah, I did see something come into my inbox regarding Terrifier. I haven't looked it up yet. So, any Terrifier fans, yeah, it's gonna be huge. They're also doing a screening for See No Evil, or is it Hear No Evil? James McAvoy movie. They're doing sort of a San Diego premiere over there. I think we have tickets. I gotta check.
You're trying to look right now.
I got. to I'll check it out later on.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different events. I mean, it's so like eclectic and different, and I mean, there's an opportunity for me to meet at Ashley Eckstein over there. She's gonna have a fashion show. She invited us to, so hopefully we make it to that. But there's so many like cross promotional things with the scheduling that it's like, okay, it's like it might be a matter of, are we closer to this as opposed to that? Let's go to this instead of that. And everyone, it seems like they're doing stuff on Thursday too. There's so many things that clash on Thursday, which is unfortunate. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting as press because we're not. Well, I mean, we're fans, of course, but I mean, we're gonna go as press trying to do certain things for the channel.
Question here from Noah says, "How we doing, boys? What projects are you most looking forward to potentially being revealed?" Great question. And I'm really oof. I don't know if you want to go first, Dave. So the project being revealed, I'm sort of just looking forward to Marvel's panel on Saturday
That's what I was thinking about too.
because I every other panel I've heard about is like projects we're already well aware of. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, Warner Brothers is not having a panel where they sort of reveal new things. Now, David had a theory that James Gunn might like show up out of the blue to kind of talk about a few things, maybe 5-10 minutes, talk about new projects coming out. I would love that. Get some just concept art or like a sizzle reel of like upcoming DC movies. I would love that. They've done it in the past. I don't know why they're not trying to do it now. It feels like it would be a good idea to kind of get people hyped for what's coming, but who knows? Marvel related. I really want an X-Men project announced. Like I know what Kevin's been saying, like this movie coming out this week. This is the introduction to X-Men. This is the introduction to mutants. Great. Now tell us what that next movie is. Tell us what that X-Men movie is and when it's coming out. That's what I want to know.
I'm hoping we see them in Deadpool, Wolverine, and then they walk them across the stage as like the new cast. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be dope. And then if there is any changes to Avengers 5 or 6,
Right, since
I
since we're
think
probably getting the Russos to direct, but and of course Kang Dynasty, that name has to change. So the question is it going to be Secret Wars, Secret Wars Part 1, Part 2, or could it be Avengers versus X-Men? Could that be the title change?
I would love that. I would love something else related to the future. It's so unknown. Even like even like something like Blade, which we thought was a slam dunk when they announced it. Mahershala Ali, Marvel, Blade, rated R. What could go wrong? It's been years and like it's not gotten any closer to going into production. So just a
Yeah.
little bit more confidence in what the future holds. I'm not an investor by any means, but I really want to be excited for what's kind of coming down the road. So I'm really looking forward to anything X-Men related, anything Avengers related, and you know what?
I
If
fully expect
they,
the Fantastic Four cast to walk across that stage.
hey, me hanging out with Pedro Pascal in person, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Young Avengers. I don't care what anybody's been saying online because there's a lot of rumors that they've kind of shelved the project. I don't believe any of that.
Yeah.
I don't fully expect to hear anything related to Young Avengers, but if it's going to get announced, they'll announce it here, and I'm down for that. You have plenty of great, talented individuals that can be a part of that film, and I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm stoked. Young Avengers, let's do it.
Yeah, Kevin Feige just said in a recent interview about Blade, he said that they just haven't been able to crack that code. They haven't been able to get a proper story, proper script. So that's why it's being delayed. It's not because of anything else, really. And he just said in a recent interview, it's going to be rated R. So that's the next rated R project after Deadpool.
I thought you were talking about Young Avengers.
No, no, no,
You're
not Young
clearly
Avengers.
talking about Blade.
Oh, wow.
That would be interesting, though. Ray says Fantastic Four. Yeah, 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 100%. And shout out to Ray because Ray, he's been helping out. He's been helping us out. Even though he's not going on this trip, he's been wheeling and dealing, man. And so shout out to Ray for kind of helping us out on this trip, doing some of the legwork for us. Yes, they absolutely need to do something about Blade. Such a talented dude with Mahershala. Like it just feels like it's gotta happen sooner or later. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's. I don't know what else I really want to hear about. I do want to see maybe something else regarding Captain America 4, um, Brave New World.
Hmm.
I mean,
Harrison Ford on the stage?
hey,
That'd be wild.
from the first trailer, which was sort of like meh to everybody, to the most recent one,
Right.
it's been a huge leap in the right direction.
Yeah.
So get people even more hype for it. It's coming out later this. No, it's coming out in February. So more stuff regarding Captain America 4, Brave New World. Anthony Mackie's a great dude. I've been lucky enough to meet him before. Super cool guy. And
Thunderbolts trailer, right? We figure we get that, right?
say it again.
A Thunderbolts trailer?
Good question. They've already been working on it, right?
I think we were getting a trailer for that for sure. I mean, yeah, they've shot it. It's wrapped. There should be a trailer. I'm pretty sure.
I'm down.
We just got to make it into Hall
I'm
H, Ted, to see all of it. You can't be on the other side on the other side of that wall there.
so yeah, you know what? We're kind of you're talking about the movie, right? Or you're talking about the TV
There's
show?
another
Because
TV show, right?
yeah, there's the TV show Superman and
Oh,
Lois, but um what to call it? The movie itself, we kind of know the whole cast, and they've not announced any panels related to Warner Brothers or the Superman cast. Oh, the
yeah.
TV show. Okay, he's talking about the TV show. I think there is a panel for that, and so I I should probably be more excited for that because I've seen every season except for the last one. I need to get caught up by tomorrow. Guess what I'm doing on the flight, Dave? I'm watching Superman and Lois. Yeah,
I might be watching a certain thing where I have to interview a certain cast.
there's a few of those. Is there okay? So you did want to talk about somebody you wanted to kind of meet. Who was that?
Yeah, so I mean, ever since one of my favorite TV shows of all time, he was the actual composer. And I just remember loving the music. I was just like, "Oh my god, this guy's like just terrific. He's awesome. Is he going to do anything else?" So come to find out that he's like pretty close friends with J.J. Abrams. So if John Williams didn't score Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and the successive sequel trilogy, it probably would have been Michael Giacchino. So that's the guy he's moderating a panel along with a couple of big time composers, Rob Simonson, who did the score for Deadpool Wolverine, Christopher Lenertz, who does The Boys at Gen V, Michael Abels, who did The Acolyte, Leopold Ross, who did Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, and Shogun, Sherry Chung from Found and the Gremlins. So Michael Giacchino, who did Thor, Love and Thunder, The Batman, Spider-Man, No Way Home, and of course he's the main composer from the TV show Lost. Yeah, I'm super excited to maybe even like meet him and talk to him. And they did invite us to the press room, so it'd be great if we could make that, Ted.
I get it. I get it. But like, I'm not against it. It's so many of
Right.
these people are putting things at the same times, and
Yeah.
it's all for whatever reason. It's all like sort of bundled up on
Right.
Thursday.
And also so Michael Giacchino directed the very last special presentation for Marvel Studios, which was
Oh,
Werewolf by Night. He directed it.
oh
He's the
wow.
director. I don't know if he did the music. Maybe somebody else. But I was like, wow, they're choosing him to direct. Okay, he did a fantastic job. So very
Yeah,
talented
absolutely.
guy.
It's kind of cool that he's moderating the panel. I don't know. Um, it feels like they're using more professionals and industry people
Yeah,
for some of these panels, as opposed to kind of journalists, which is kind of what they've been using most of the
yeah,
time in years past. So it's kind of interesting that they're doing that. I'm excited. I think it'll kind of give a different tone to everything. It's more about peers and stuff like that, um, as opposed to just like members of the press that are
yeah.
moderating the panels, and they're not always the most energetic folks. Even though we're in that category as well, but we've done some panels before, so I think we can pull it off next time. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even this time you were saying that there might be an opportunity. So who knows?
Ray says Hasbro booth has some cool stuff. I'm actually going to be. I did get an invite. This is just an attendee thing, but attendees, if you want to shop at the Hasbro booth or the Funko booth, you also that's also a lottery system, and so I got a Funko one for I think Friday. I forgot to mention to you. So I might get some cool Funko things on Friday. I didn't get a Hasbro one though, and man, I think it's only by
A
invite
Hasbro won
only.
what? An
A has
invitation?
Yeah.
I think I got one.
Did you really?
I think so. We have so many emails, guys. It's wild. I've never had to. Yeah.
Bender.
Yeah.
Hello, Bender.
Says Hasbro. Hi, David. Hasbro, a global play and entertainment company, will return to San Diego Comic Con. See press release for full details, including brand panel information. Please let us know if you can include Hasbro's upcoming SDCC plans and any of your convention features, roundups, or if you have any questions. You had to have gotten this email.
I got the email. I didn't get the buyer invite. If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Bender, what's going on? And Jason, what is up, Jason? And Zach says, Funko Comadina. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah, so the Funko, they got some super rare ones coming out this year that I'm excited for.
There's a Grand Admiral Thrawn that's like sparkly, apparently, and it's like they only made like 200 or 500 or something. I'm not going to
There's
be
some,
too like on top of that because I know everyone's. I mean, there's so many Funko like hardcores out there. That's
yeah.
just going to eat up a bunch of time just waiting in line for that. But
I just have to remember to like save space in like my bag for like
yeah,
stuff that we buy, like a Funko. Noah,
yeah,
great question, Noah. See a trailer for Skeleton Crew at some point? I think the Star Wars panels for movies or TV shows is non-existent, right, Dave?
right, right. I'm expecting maybe D23 is going to have a Skeleton Crew trailer. We've already seen a picture leaked. Um, but yeah, Star Wars is not going to have a huge presence at SDCC. I'm still going to be recording live video, going live on Instagram, live on YouTube, live everywhere, all of our social media platforms. So look out for all that. I'm definitely going to post a whole lot more in comparison to Celebration. So this is like the first time I'm going like as full blown press type to any type of convention. So it's going to be a little bit different. And me and Ted we were talking earlier. It's going to go by super fast because we're going to be super busy, jumping from thing to thing to thing, and yeah, it's going to be bonkers. The days are going to end quick.
This is a good test run, right? I think like my strategy is to have like, so we're going for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Probably two out of the 5 days probably like book heavy, and the other two or three we book super light, and we kind of get a feel for like what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah,
If we figure out booking assignments is what I'm calling them, back to back to back, and oh, they're all over the damn city,
right,
might not be the best plan next year, but
right.
we're
Because the
gonna
thing
give it a
is, they're not
shot.
all going to take place at the convention center. They're going to be in like hotels spread around San Diego. So that's
Yeah,
going to be the other kind of logistical thing we got to figure out with timing.
and there's I am exaggerating, but I'm kind of not. 500,000 people in this condensed locale of San Diego by the Bay. So the best kind of way I tell people is San Diego Comic Con does not take place just within the walls of the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
It takes over the city. And so within about 7 or 8 square blocks of the convention center, there are events happening everywhere. Um, Pop-ups, stores, parties of food vendors, activations, which can be anything from, I've seen like a display of South Park episodes out of cutouts all the way to like an Assassin's Creed obstacle course
Yeah,
where you're going through like an obstacle course and doing the eagle dive and all that stuff. So activations can include any one of those things, and so it's so massive, just how many things are happening. You're sort of never bored, but also it takes time to get from one place to another, and you're traveling amongst a herd of 500,000 people. I'm exaggerating, but I'm also not. It's like nobody knows the true number of how many people go to San Diego Comic Con because they only count attendees with badges. That doesn't include all the folks that are outside who don't have badges, who are just taking in the sights and the sounds. So it's pretty remarkable. I'm excited for the 25th anniversary of Shaun of the Dead There's going to be a Shaun of the Dead experience just outside the convention center. I know Dave's not excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Don't
I'm
call me out like
excited.
that, Ted.
Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. It's where it all began, baby. And yeah, I'm stoked. So that's actually one of the first things we're doing on Thursday. The first official day of San Diego is doing a tour of the experience, the Shaun of the Dead experience. And I don't know what that could be. I have no idea what that could be. I did hear they built a replica of the Winchester, which was the bar that they sort of ended up at in the movie. And word on the street is they're giving out free beer. So now
Yeah,
you're excited, Dave.
that
Now Dave's excited. You see that? It's all
that's gonna
turned
attract
around,
a whole lot of
baby.
people. Yeah, I think a lot of people know this from the Star Wars side, or maybe they don't. But yeah, I don't drink. Everyone just figures I drink, but yeah, I don't drink alcohol. So
I'll drink for you.
yeah, I usually get the drink ticket, and like I try to hand it to you at the Spurs practice, so that we went to.
I remember that, yeah.
So
Zach says, "I am the city. I'm am I'm I'm
he is the
am
city.
the city.
Yeah,
Are you in the city? Did you mean to say that? Are you in the city?" Ray says it's like walking two football fields in the center alone. Oh, for sure. I mean, more than that, 100%. I mean, the convention center is maybe four football fields long, 4 to 500 yards long, and then just to
that'd be
go
5 football
outside,
fields.
yeah, just to go outside is another. You're traveling anywhere. Eagle dive. Kid in the background screams. Shaun of the Dead cosplay should be easy. You would think so, right? Mariana Arnold wants to know: are they having the pirate ship this year, sponsored by the beer company? I forgot the name.
Huh. Captain Morgan?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Captain Morgan. Possibly. There's always some things that remain. For example, Adult Swim has the entire area, the grassy area behind the convention
Yeah.
center, and there's a party that they're throwing there that we're excited to attend. And usually there's a few boats on the bay that are also part of the event. And one of these years we're gonna have our own boat that we dock on the bay that we stay in. You see that? No hotels. Just hey, we're gonna get a boat. We're gonna put it around the bay, and that's what we'll do.
That's like a Athens Olympic style. When the dream team was over there, they stayed on a boat because there was not enough hotels. Or was that
Exactly.
Australia? I think that was the 2000 Olympics. They're like, we rented out the Queen Mary the Third, and we're on there. So yeah, there was no Olympic Village, so no
Genius.
shenanigans.
Nina says, I only drink two, the first and last. Zach says, no, I am the city. Like, I am the law. Comment. Very nice. Very cool. Anything else that we need to bring up, Dave?
Um, I'm just gonna be taking as much pictures and video, and I'm gonna pretty much fill up memory cards here, taking all kinds of media and posting them on our Patreon, on the group, the page, Twitter. Follow us at Stuff Pod for Star Wars Stuff Podcast. There's not going to be too much Star Wars stuff like we talked about, but there should be some. Mosh Isley is happening Friday night. I met Sarah, who's one of the promoters, and she'll be there as well from Rebel Scum Con. And I was so shocked that she also lives in Texas. I thought she lived in California or something. But yeah, Ted and I might go there. It just all kind of depends on what happens and what industry Hollywood people tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, let's go to dinner, or hey, come over here, come take a look at that probably sounded wrong, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
you joke, but I do remember. I think it wasn't me. It was 2018. Somebody got Ezra Miller
oh
was
my god.
walking around.
Oh, you had to say it was Ezra Miller.
So Ezra Miller was walking around downtown, and somebody stopped him and was like trying to interview him. I don't remember if this guy was an
Oh my
official
gosh.
member of the press or not, but he was like interviewing him, and Ezra, like in the middle of their conversation, just kissed him in the middle of their interview, and it was wild. It's just like, Ezra, what are you doing, man? And the guy was just frozen, like
Turned to a
frozen
ghost.
stiff. So I don't expect that to happen this year, but anything can happen at San Diego Comic Con. Zach says, "Don't say Captain Morgan. I think I got alcohol poisoning back in the day from it." And Goldschlager. I know what you're referring to, and I promise you, it was a Goldschlager. Ray says Keanu Reeves will also be at Hall H. Yeah, he's there for
For
the
Berserker.
Berserker
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
And
Tiffany
so,
Smith is going to be hosting it this year.
who?
Tiffany Smith.
Okay, very cool.
So yeah, that's one person I'm hoping to meet. I haven't met her in person yet. She's one of the few people that do the con thing that I haven't met yet because I don't know reasons. Her and Frosty from Collider. He founded Collider. He of course sold it, but he's still their head media person. And he just interviewed Feige. He interviewed Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. And I missed him in London when I was there for Celebration. I just missed him because he put out a thing on his Facebook where he's like, "I'm here for a while if anyone wants to come hang out." And I think I got on Facebook late. I saw it late, and he was gone. And I was like, "Man, what?" It's like, oh, I just missed him.
Zach says, "Keep her name out your mouth." He's trying to keep it PG by not saying the rest of it, what he really wanted to say. But yeah, it's pretty
I think that was
awesome.
a Will Smith Oscar reference there.
It was. It was.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what else. Oh, Chris Hemsworth is also going to be there. He's actually
There
going to be in
might
the.
be a Thor 5 announcement.
You think so? I was going to say he's there because of Transformers One, because
Right,
he's
right, right.
now the
Right.
new
Okay. Yeah.
Optimus.
You know what's weird? So when does that movie come out?
Mm,
In 2 weeks?
yes,
Okay, so I was at that theater in two of the theaters I went to today looking for the popcorn bucket. They had Transformer 1 standees like out front and center. Like they're expecting it to be pretty big. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth, um, who else is in it?
yes.
Brian Tyree Henry, I believe, is in it as well. So
Yeah, and it's also another one of those panels that's not on Saturday. It used to be that Saturday was like so heavy, that like that's all you really needed to do. It used to be Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and that was, you just had to go to Saturday and you were done. Now it's actually the kind of the good thing is that it's pretty evenly matched. You got,
yeah.
sure, Marvel's on Saturday, but you got Keanu Reeves on a different day. You got Chris Hemsworth on a different day. Like, they're doing kind of a better job about spreading the love around, and that might make it easier to get into some of these Hall H panels as opposed to previous years when you just kind of went all in on a Saturday. Nunez says, "How many Transformers movies are there?" The answer is yes. And Zach says, "Yes, but will Megan Fox's backside be in the new Transformers?" We'll
If it is,
find
it'll be
out.
animated.
We'll find out in the reveal this coming San Diego Comic Con. You know what? I'm super excited for Transformers 1 because my daughter, who just turned 5, is, for whatever reason, becoming a major Transformers fan. So
Oh,
it's like,
nice.
cool.
That's
Now we
awesome.
get to kind of take you to go see this one because she'll watch some of the live action ones, but she kind of does this thing whenever it gets really violent.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
that's all
just like,
kids.
cool. Now we got something. It's the right time for her to get into it because now there's this whole slew of new movies coming out. Nunez is cracking up over here.
So,
That's awesome.
I think Ryan Reynolds took his 5-year-old to the Deadpool Wolverine premiere.
Oh my gosh, we were gonna talk about nobody's took a guess yet. Let's do it now. Here is the box office prediction for Deadpool and Wolverine. And look, I got a little visual fantasy box office. Like fantasy football, but fantasy
Yeah,
box office. All right,
exactly,
everybody
yeah,
got it? Cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna go first. worldwide opening weekend, Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm gonna say it probably tracks just under what kind of they're all saying. I'm gonna go with 295. I want to say 290, but I'll give it a little bit. 295. 295 million worldwide opening weekend. David, what do you say, sir?
Okay, so here's the thing with all of our info that we know. So Ted and I have backup tickets for Deadpool Wolverine in San Diego. In case we get into Hall H, we're just gonna bypass that. Probably go to another different event. So if you go and look for tickets now, there's a lot of tickets available because they're now doing multiple showings that they weren't doing before because they saw the demand. Every theater was selling out. So looking at all those available seats, there's still available seats. There's still showings that haven't maxed out. You're saying 290?
290 million opening weekend.
I want to say more like 265.
All right. All right. Ray's in the chat saying 380 million. Very nice.
Is that possible?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. What did Avatar do?
Well, with the number of physical seats though. Well, I mean, it's a 2-hour movie. Um thinking back to I believe it was The Force Awakens. I think The Force Awakens made 350 opening weekend domestic. And I'm guessing more theaters have opened since 2015. It's almost 10 years later. Um, so yeah, I think 380 is a possibility. I
Yeah.
haven't heard or read anything that said 400 million is possible, but I think 380 is actually possible. But I mean, with the amount of empty seats that I've seen and the extra showings, I haven't been to it lately. I bought these tickets 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, but yeah, with the premiere just happening in New York, which I actually had like 6 Facebook friends go to, which was insane. Um, haven't been spoiled at all. I only know what I've known from just trailers and interviews and stuff like that. And the instant reactions, there's an embargo, and those instant reactions on Twitter, a lot of them are saying it's super gory, super gory. There's a lot of blood and a lot of, I don't know, just gore, like a lot of it. Um, so yeah, I'll stick with 265.
Yeah, that's good. Endgame. I don't think this is right. I'm looking it up to see what the previous largest openings was. 1.2 billion. That was an opening weekend,
No, that
wasn't it?
was an opening week. Well, that might have been worldwide.
It's been so long, I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is just because it's rated R. It's gonna be so much lower. Now, I would love to be wrong if that's the case, but yeah, I'll go 295. Let's see here. Budget for Deadpool Wolverine. Signs say 200 million budget for the film, which sounds about right. And
Endgame was 357 million.
what's that?
Endgame opening weekend gross
Okay, so yeah,
domestic.
380 is possible with inflation.
Yeah, with inflation, with adding more theaters. Yeah. I mean, Ray, I mean, he could hit it.
And Endgame was also a lot longer, right?
Yes, it was very long. It was pretty much 3 hours, right?
Yep.
This is a quick 2 hours in and out. I'm so excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Wolverine in the blue suit. I mean, and the blue and yellow, I should say.
You know
More
what?
yellow, but
You know what's hilarious is I saw an interview on the red carpet for the world premiere, and Hugh Jackman said the coolest thing. He said, "I can't believe I ever did a movie not wearing the yellow and blue suit."
yeah. So I got a story about that. So it's Bryan Singer's fault. Bryan Singer hated the comics. He didn't want anything to do with comic books. And Feige was there. He was physically there, and he was the one giving Wolverine Hugh Jackman the comic books, like sliding them under his trailer door to take a look at them. and they even thought the hair was dumb. Like he shouldn't have the hair the way it was styled, and they snuck that in. And of course, the James Marsden, he as Cyclops makes a comment of what would you expect you to wear us to wear yellow spandex, and it was funny at the time, and now it's like, man, that comic never should have been made, and it's like there's probably going to be a jab at that at some point. But yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin Feige all along was trying to get as comic book accurate as possible.
yeah. And the other things that they talked about regarding the suit were that when Ryan and Hugh first came out in their comic accurate suits, they said the crew was quiet. Like nobody talked. You could hear a pin drop.
Right.
They all just sort of like were taking it in. And then Hugh Jackman mentioned there were some grown men crying on the set,
Well, shoot.
seeing Hugh in the costume for the first time.
Well, I
I
mean,
gotta imagine it's possible for sure. I think may get teary eyed a little bit here and there. But
yeah,
it's just wild that I agree with him. Like nobody has mentioned like anything regarding the suit other than it looks immaculate on him. And the fact that this is the first time, the fact that it took so long, and they even tried to like mimic something close to the suit. Remember when they had well, they kind of showed the original suit, but never
right.
him
It was like
wearing
a
it.
it's like a cutscene or something, an outtake or something
Yeah,
from
and it's just like
Origins, and it was like in a briefcase, and they opened it up, and it had the mask, it had the claws. Yeah, I mean, it
yeah, and
looked
it's
like it
just
was
like
something he could put on, but they
why,
never took advantage of it. But that's the
and
same movie where
why
they
is it so?
sewed Ryan Reynolds' mouth shut too. So
Yes,
yeah.
I really, if I ever get a chance to talk to Ryan Reynolds, maybe it'll be this weekend. I want to ask him like, how does it feel, man, to go from all those movies where you thought like it was going to kind of be impactful and you were hoping for the best, but um either Origins or Green Lantern, for example, like didn't turn out the way he wanted to now he's just putting out blockbuster after blockbuster, and he's just making anything he wants to. Everybody's going along with it. He's working with his closest friends and potentially his wife, and he's just doing whatever he wants now. Like he's gone from one end of the spectrum to the other. Second chances do exist. I would love to get his thoughts on that. And if there was ever a shot of me interviewing Ryan Reynolds, it will be this weekend. I'm not hoping that it's going to happen or anything, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Nunez
So
says, "Is there any after credit scenes for?" I'm gonna say yes, and I don't want to tell you not spoilers, but I don't want to tell you whether I've heard it's worth it or not. Let's just say that.
what I've heard is there's one that I don't think there's a mid credit, but I think you're gonna stay anyways and see a mid credit if there is actually a mid credit. Maybe they might do that thing where they add it for the general audiences and the premiere people didn't get to see it. But there is an after credit scene, but you got to sit through all the credits and then you finally get it. Um, so Ray agrees with me. I think Taylor Swift is no, we don't agree. I thought he was gonna say Lady Pool. I think Taylor is Lady Pool. I mean, you just look same body as Taylor Swift. A lot of people say it's Blake Lively. I think Blake Lively is a little bit different. I think her body type is a little bit different from what we saw with Lady Pool. That's just my opinion. But then you look at other pictures and Blake could pass for Lady Pool. And if you saw her on the red carpet for the premiere last night, she could definitely throw that suit on. But I was going to ask you, Ted, do you want to make some predictions as to what cameos we're going to get? So me and Ted know nothing about
Nothing,
cameos whatsoever. We're not spoiled. We don't know any inside information. So
and we don't want anybody here who's heard anything to mention what they've heard. So don't do
yeah,
that as well. I think it only makes sense to have either X-Men cameos or X-Men flashbacks. Like this Wolverine, for anybody who's been watching the trailers, it's not a spoiler. He is not Fox Wolverine. He is, I think, a Wolverine that went through some other horrible traumatic experience, and so we may see, X-Men Storm, we may see X-Men Cyclops, James Marsden, we may see Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart, um, in situations that we've not seen before or that we're privy to, and I'm all for it. If there's any emotional investment in this specific Wolverine variant, we'll call him that Wolverine variant. I'm all for it. Putting some emotional sort of arc in there for us to all kind of be a part of, I think would be incredible. So I think we'll see some X-Men cameos from variants of the Fox characters for sure. Not for sure, but I think that's definitely possible. And if you ask me, I know nothing about this. All I know is, as a writer or a producer of a Marvel movie, if I was producing this film, if I knew this may be the only time we get Wolverine and Deadpool together, there's no way I'm doing it without bringing the Avengers in. And I'm not saying that it would be the Avengers filming anything new, but I would say throwing Deadpool and Wolverine into some old Avengers scenes only makes the most sense. And so you don't have to film anything new by doing that. You could accomplish all of that stuff by just throwing them through phase 1 through phase 3, CG wise. I just feel like years ago I heard that Ryan Reynolds had an idea for Deadpool. Well, it was just him and Deadpool pretty much in a car, metaphorical car, going through the entire Marvel saga. And I'm like, I love it. It's pretty much a Rick and Morty movie, but it's Deadpool and Wolverine. And so if we get something along those lines, I would love it. That's what I would do. I would go for the biggest thing possible because you don't know when it's going to be the last time. So I
Eh,
want I
yeah,
want to see Avengers, I want to see X-Men cameos, and then I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that.
and maybe
Even if I
Luis,
don't, even if I don't, I'll still be happy with that.
riding shotgun with him so he can retell the story later
Hey,
on.
yeah, Michael Pena needs to be back in the MCU. I would love that.
You know, I just realized today I work like a coworker of mine. His name is Michael Pena, and I didn't put it all together because I think we call him Mike. That's why.
Yeah, Noah's confirming what David already mentioned. No mid credit, only one post credit. Zach says, "Well, I will find out in Japan because it's custom to sit through all the credits."
Wow.
Let's see. Blake should be in Deadpool. I mean, he isn't her Bazinga. Ooh, yeah. Ray says, "I want She-Hulk." Zach says, "I want Colossus back." Go
I
for. Isn't Colossus in the trailer? He's in
I don't think
Colossus
so.
is in the
Um,
beginning, isn't he?
I want to say, how can you have a Deadpool movie without Colossus? I mean, there's that scene in the trailer where he's having like a birthday, and you see just about everyone in there. Um, you even see the guy that was referred to as Fat Gandalf in there. So, which that's pretty cool.
Zach's on a roll tonight. Go for the biggest thing. That's what she said. Ray says, "I want Deadpool to show up in Endgame." Yeah, I wouldn't I would
So
not doubt it.
someone actually had a theory that they're going to show a scene where you see that last battle scene in Endgame where you see all of the what are the cronies called for Thanos? They're called something, right?
Yeah,
They all have specific names, but anyways, them and then those alien dog creatures that are like hard to take down, up against, instead of the Avengers and all the Asgardians and everyone, just all the multiversal Deadpools going up against them.
did I say that? I don't know if I mentioned that to
Were
you,
you
but
the one that told me that? Somebody told me that, and I was like, that would be hysterical.
I think I said it as a joke. Just like again, like we are on limited time, so you go out, you go big or you
Yeah,
go home. It's pretty
yeah.
much the
And it's
whole
like they
moral of
already
the
got the
story
digital
here.
footage like in a hard drive somewhere. It's like you could just paint them out and paint in all the Deadpools. So there's like lady pool, cowboy pool, dog pool. There's head pool. He's just a head. That's all he is with a mask. which
which is also a San Diego Comic Con exclusive. They are selling a Deadpool head
yeah,
that comes with 600 different phrases. It's it's not meant for kids, so don't buy it for the kids for Christmas.
don't come to our
Um,
booth if we have that as a prize.
hey, you know what? We should just have a Deadpool head at our booth at
Yeah,
conventions going forward, and it'll talk to people as they walk by.
a drowning pool.
Um, there you go. Let's see. Noah says, "Do y'all think the after credit scene from the Marvels will tie into Deadpool in any way? I'm dying to see more of Kelsey Grammer's Beast."
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm okay. So here's my theory. So this plays right into what my theory is, Noah. So great comment there. I think all of the X-Men from the 20th Century Fox universe are going to be there. They're all going to be there. Like we're not going to miss a single one. They're all going to show up. Plus, I think First Class. So I'm hoping we get Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. Hope we see them two in there. Um, and I think some characters. So one of the a few of the major reactions after the premiere last night was there's some cameos that nobody predicted that are going to be in this film. So if there's like very obscure cameos, that would be cool too. So I'm down for that because it feels like this is going to be cameo ridden with so many people, and a lot of people it's going to shock them. But
They rumored superheroes from other franchises, like
oh my
not even
gosh.
Marvel related. And so I don't know whether to believe that or not. And then the story came out a few days ago that Marvel Studios purposely planted rumors so that they would keep some cameos secret, which
Okay.
I totally believe, because they would give us fake trailers that never happened in movies. So yeah,
Right.
that's a thing. Dave, would you like to guess where the Rotten Tomatoes score is right now? I will give you a hint. It debuted at 85%. Where do you think it is right now with 130 reviews in right now?
For Deadpool Wolverine?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was up yet.
Well, it's all critics.
Yeah,
Audience score is not open yet. So this is
right,
all
right.
just press.
And you said it debuted at what?
85.
Is it 83?
Zach's guessing 93. He also says he would like a Punisher to make a cameo. And Dre says, "Well, dude, what if we give him is fantastic." Currently, the Deadpool Wolverine Rotten Tomato score for the critics sits at 79%,
Hmm.
going down.
Yeah,
And I don't think that says a lot. I think the
yeah,
critics they've not always been in the right mindset as the audience is. I feel like this is a good indication that the audience score is going to be in the high 90s,
yeah,
because usually when the critic score is pretty high, not kind of mediocre high, 75 to 85%, usually the audience score goes up a little bit more than that when it comes to comic book movies. When it's dramas or whatever else, the audience score actually might falter lower than that. But yeah. So Nunez says they're idiots. Clearly, clearly they
yeah,
are.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I expect the audience score to be definitely higher than what the critics are giving it right now. I just think that it's I'm expecting it to be loads of fun, start to finish,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and also I think they're actually going to take some risks with this script. Like I mentioned, I think there should be some emotional investment in Wolverine's arc. You didn't have to, but I
Yeah,
think they went for it. I got no proof of that. I'm thinking that there's going to be something in there based on all the trailers we've seen. Like they're really trying to kind of give him some type of redemption arc. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that, but you're taking a risk, and I'm all for it. So yeah, I haven't seen it, but I think that they're gonna gain my respect for at least taking the shot.
yeah, for sure.
Ray says, "Will Brad Pitt come back?" You know,
I wouldn't doubt it.
We didn't expect him the first time, so I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
The Vanisher.
The I
You
forgot
you just see the floating parachute, the backpack.
I forgot the story about how that came about. I need to go look it up
I
again
know the
because I remember it
story.
being hilarious.
I know the story. Well, is it? I don't think it's that hilarious, but yeah. So Brad Pitt was in Fight Club. The director of Deadpool 2 was Brad Pitt's stunt double, David Leitch, and David Leitch, of course, became a director. He just directed him again, I believe, in Bullet Train. I believe. Um, but yeah, he was looking to, I think, add someone in there, and he was like, I think Brad might do it, and Ryan Reynolds was like, no, no way, he'll do that. So yeah, for like 2 or 3 just pieces of
Seconds.
film, yeah, like you know you can look at his face and tell that it's him right away. And I know like the general audience members in the theater were probably like, was that just Brad Pitt? I mean, if you didn't, if you weren't like us, didn't know like the behind the scenes stuff, you would be kind of like weirded out by that and think that you saw Brad. And of course, yeah, it was Brad Pitt. He did play the Vanish. He just filmed those 2 scenes where he just grabbed 2 cables and they filmed it, and that was it. He was gone for the day. So yeah, yeah. And David Leitch also did some John Wick stuff as well, right? Or was
I'll
that
go with that. Yeah.
yeah? Because I know there's a John Wick connection in there as well.
Well, Dave, I think it's about that time. Folks,
That time
we
to start
are
packing.
time to start taking our trip seriously.
Uh,
No, we've been getting stuff kind
oh,
of taken care of. I'm already charging all my camera batteries and stuff. So yeah, it's now we just need to
I'll have
now we
all
just
my
go ahead
business
need to
cards. So if I see you,
we need to finish packing because we got an early flight tomorrow.
I'm probably just not gonna sleep. I might as well
No,
just drive to the airport and sleep over there, right? I mean,
well, just tell me where you parked so I can wake you up when I get there.
oh, I'm going inside. I'm not gonna.
We saw Brad Pitt the same amount of time we saw. Oh God. Yeah, Ray says you don't need sleep. No, it won't be a lot of sleeping in San Diego for sure.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm glad that we're planning some stuff out, but also you just have to leave room for the unexpected because the unexpected does happen quite frequently over there. So um, be prepared for lots of content coming from San Diego Comic Con. I actually have 2 interviews with folks that are dropping tomorrow on the Countdown City Geeks social media page as well as YouTube. 2 individuals who have separate panels, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Um, One of them is about a movie that I think everybody should watch. It's sort of in the same vein as The Boys. It's also a time travel movie. It's quite quirky and it's a comedy slash gosh, what to call it? Grindhouse horror potentially. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and so I got 2 interviews dropping tomorrow with these folks who are attending San Diego Comic Con, and we'll have a lot coming out very soon. We'll be doing some lives, and we'll have some giveaways for sure when we return from the center of the universe. Dave, any final words, sir?
I'm already sleepy, man.
Sleep where
Team
we're
no sleep.
going, we don't need sleep. Fantastic Back to the Future reference there. Good night, everybody. Thanks so much, everybody in the chat, for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun. We will see you guys on the other side. I will strongly recommend you stay off social media or you limit yourself between now and the time you see Deadpool and Wolverine, because in the next 24 to 48 hours, there's going to be spoilers all over the place. So do yourself a favor and hold off as much as you can. Really, only use social media for emergencies. Let's just say that. May the thread be with you long time. I love that. For the Countdown City Geeks, my name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me from the Star Wars Stuff podcast is the one and the only David.
It's almost time to make the chimichangas.
Almost. Peace out, everybody. We will see y'all very soon from San Diego Comic Con 2024.